Welcome to Manufacturing Tech Australia with Shane Williams and Paul Mason.
I'm here with Bruce from Aspect PT. Bruce, welcome to Manufacturing Tech Australia.
Wonderful. Thanks. Great to be here, Shane.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah.
So, we're here today catching up a little bit about what you guys do, and before we get into the technology, which I'm sure our listeners and viewers are going to be particularly excited about, I just wanted to talk like higher, bigger picture. So tell us a little bit about what Aspect PT does, the types of customers you help, and the business problems you solve.
Good, good question. So Aspect's all around production scheduling, production visibility. So one of the challenges in manufacturing businesses is understanding what's happening actually on the shop floor. Most businesses will have an ERP system or some sort of system that looks after the financials or the inventory on the carpeted side, but they lack that visibility. They lack a tool for the concrete side, where the machines are, where the people are, where production's made. And so being able to bring those two together is extremely valuable for anybody who wants to schedule, who wants to plan, who wants to understand optimization on the shop floor, who want to digitize. There's all sorts of great reasons to get a solution dedicated for the production floor.
100%. Yeah, I know. I talk to people and they say, hey, we've got a really good ERP and we know what our sales forecast looks like and we know what our numbers look like, but I couldn't possibly tell you whether we have more capacity. I couldn't tell you whether we're at, where can I sell more? What are my opportunities because of that disconnection, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem we solve. That's the gap. So the ERPs do a great job with that, but they don't talk to the machine out on the shop floor, or they don't talk to a work centre that's actually doing something that is needed for that sales or for that planning purpose. So that's the last, it's kind of like the last mile.
Last mile,
So and it's where you get the most value, because it's when you bring both together and integrate them and have two-way flow of information, you get a lot of visibility, you get monitoring, you get performance indicators, you get a great deal of information that's really beneficial.
And I sort of tend to talk about this. You've got the machinery out on the floor, you've got PLCs and SCADA and that sort of connection layer, if you want to talk of that. And then there's a gap, and then there's ERP. And we're trying to plumb it, and it almost feels like you're filling that hole.
Exactly. So we grew out of that PLC SCADA level, and the business owner said, in actual fact, we need something in the middle, something that brings that level into the ERP. And that middle layer is exactly where we play. And so we start with scheduling, and then we can do all sorts of wonderful things after that.
And so I think let's talk about that. So obviously scheduling is one important component of this. Maybe just talk to us a little bit about some of the capabilities.
Well, once you've got your scheduling done, you can then drive into OEE, overall equipment effectiveness, a very key metric for most manufacturers. So you can start analysing, are machines running at the right speed? Are they running too slow? Where are our bottlenecks? And then you can start that continuous improvement cycle and start driving optimization across the floor. You also get involved with things like traceability. That's a really big driver for a lot of our guys, particularly in the food industry, a lot of compliance. There's a lot of paper out on the shop floor at the moment, and people are ticking boxes, and some of them are doing it erroneously, in so much that they'll retrofit a tick, at 7 a.m. and it might be 9 a.m. already. And so digitizing that removes all of that risk associated with not doing those checks in time, the recall, the auditing advantages you get when it's digital. I've been to businesses and there's just screeds of paper for years of production, and it's just a nightmare for an auditor, or it's a nightmare for the owner or the business investor to understand, how's our business tracking? Where are we? Are we optimizing our machines? Do we need to buy a new machine? And if so, what's the capacity that we're trying to fill?
I think that the elusive OEE is something that I feel like these sorts of solutions are helping to close the gap on. I'm also seeing businesses try and tackle it from, can we just suck all this information into a data lake and put business objects over the top, or can we put Power BI over the top? And I'm like, well, you could, but it feels like a lot of heavy lifting for something that's already been built, right?
Exactly, and you've nailed it there. There are a lot of databases out there. We deal with a lot of people who've just got spreadsheets and they just slice and dice for infinitum. But we've got that all pre-canned and it's already out of the box to go for those businesses. So.
And when you say food industry, I'm assuming you've got multiple different verticals that you can operate in. And the ones that I tend to sort of spend some time around at the moment are in the whole space where, is there a product recall? Great. Well then, what does our process look like? What do we know batch numbers? Do we know what machine? And can we find out why there was a problem based on the data, and the short answer is a lot of these places that are using spreadsheets can't.
Oh, they can't. And you know, I'm always amazed how many businesses I go to that are very, very manual on the shop floor. There's still hand pen paper, there's still whiteboards, there's still spreadsheets in a production manager's, you know, isolated environment.
Yeah.
That's not connected, it's not exposed. So there's a lot of risk associated with that. But there's a lot of gains to be made if you can actually streamline your business and get away from those silos of information that always exist. And our system does exactly that. So it's the gold standard for the shop floor, really.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so quick plug for Aspect PT, go.
Well, if you're not using Aspect PT and you're a manufacturer, you should probably have a look at it. There's so much there to offer. You know, we are in the bucket called MES, Manufacturing Execution Solutions. There's a number of them. A lot of them are from the Northern Hemisphere and they attract Northern Hemisphere pricing. We're local, so we're a lot more attuned to what's happening in this Australasian market.
Awesome, mate. It's been good to have you on the show. Thanks for your time.
Great. Thank you, Shane.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks for tuning in to Manufacturing Tech Australia with Shane and Paul, recorded on the traditional lands of the Bunurong and Wurundjeri people. For more information, jump on the manufacturingtech.au website. Remember to hit the follow button to join us again next time as we continue to explore the intersection of manufacturing and technology.